Okay, welcome back. You might remember in our last video we learned how to use the slice head to cut out unwanted noise and sections of our project. So I'm going to go to my library, and the project I'm working on is Where the Wild Things Are. Make sure you actually click on the title that you've given your project, not your name, otherwise it'll take you to your profile. So I click on the name of the project, and I see the sound wave up there. And if I click play here, I will hear my project. I don't want to do that right now. I want to mix my project. So I go over here and I select that orange button, Mix Editor. Just takes a moment. And it will bring up the project that I was working on. Make sure each time you work on it that you give it a name. If you need to save it at different stages, I suggest you just add a 1 or a letter name after the heading each time you work on it. So this was our project last week. So when we used the slice head, which was this tool right here, what it actually did, and I double click on that to activate it, comes up down the bottom there, click here. What this tool actually did was it cut a section for me. So if I take that there and I was to click slice a playhead, then it would cut it so I had two pieces, exactly where my cursor was. You can keep doing that in your project if you haven't finished that yet, but today I'm going to work on the trim feature. So sometimes we want to, and I'm just going to slide that along so I can see later in my track. Remember, wherever I am here, it'll show me in real time up here. This is a magnified version. So I might say, do you know what? I know that all of that there is silence, but it gets too cumbersome to work with my track. So instead of using the slice tool, I can grab this little tool here down in the bottom left-hand corner and watch what happens. I'm going to take it all the way in just before, and what that does is it trims. So if I play in here now, then I should hear this. Take that cursor there to the same place. So that'll take it to here, and let's listen to what happens.
And gnashed their terrible teeth.
So I can still add the silence, but now I can control how much silence. Let's have a look at another place we may want to use that. So I'm going to take this along, and there seems to be silence there. There is. So I'll pick that up down here on the magnified version of the track, and I can see it's around about here. Now I've got two options. I first of all can slice. That gives me this portion here. And then on top of that, I can trim. So I take that bottom and I take it along. Now I can make that silence as big or as little as I like, but I don't have other noises that could happen as I record. So noises from around my house or in the room. So what I'm going to do now, just to show you how that can all work together, I'm going to take this cursor all the way back to the beginning. I'm going to slide this all the way back to the beginning, and I'm going to slide everything so it is immediately after each other. So you can see how that might look. Okay. And let's play.
The wild things roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws.
Okay, so now you can hear there's no pause. Something's happened with the pitch at this stage. Quite sure what's happened with that. That's something we can have a little look at later. But right now you can see how I've compressed all of that and got rid of those gaps, but also at the same time, because I've made separate little pieces, I can slide things to wherever or however I like, which is really handy because the next thing we're going to do is actually to insert sound effects in there and insert other audio such as music to create a bit of a soundtrack in the background. So because I've done a new thing to my project, I'm now going to click save. Remember, if you're keeping track of your project one step at a time and you need to provide a log or a diary of your progress, or you want to revert back to a previous version, always add a letter or a number there. So I'm going to click save, and that's where our video will end today.